I hope that you are having such a fantastic afternoon. Same way that it's a beautiful one over here. It's 1 p.m. in the afternoon. It's Saturday. I'm looking outside. Sun is shining. Plants are growing. Cars are driving. Trees are reaching for the sky. It's just a nice day out there. I appreciate you all joining me here as well as we dive into a little bit of low. We're going to be listening to the track Disappearing. This is coming off of the 13th and final studio album from the band, which was released in 2021. That album being entitled Hey What. We're giving a listen to this track because this was suggested and sponsored by Yerk Floor. Thank you so much for the suggestion. Thank you so much for the request as well. I truly appreciate that. Listen, what do you say we dive straight on in? I, I had a totally different album than this one up to listen to, like not even close to related. What was I doing with that? Let's go ahead and dive on into the track. We'll discuss it a little bit after. Here we go.
Somewhere out on the ocean,
It's like a deep collapse.
across the waves that rise and fall, deep beyond imagination.
It's a deep fade in.
Some kind of madness, I don't know.
It's really deep. Guitars explode into this.
Every time I see that ship go out, it feels like everything's complete. But somebody somewhere is waiting. Some other ocean at her feet.
That guitar is like a big wave coming through. It's incredibly destructive. Now it's in reverse. It
It brings cold comfort to my soul.
seems- and then Hay comes in and clears things up immediately. Disappearing is a throttle of a track. There is this I mean, obviously you heard it. There's this almost this is going to sound weird, but this sucking void kind of sound. It's like It's like all of your life come crashing down in the span of 1 second. And it's like this weird, like, I don't know, there's a sucking void, that like a black hole that you can't escape from, that's kind of continually pulling you and grasping you, kind of holding you by your chest, letting you go, and then holding you back. And it's just grasping you. And this track does not let go of you musically. The deep, 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 gritty, textural, torrential assault of feedback and guitar is so interesting. And like I said, it feels like, can I tell you what this sounds like? Like in the most fact, it's like if you were to take a car crash and slow it down. It's going to sound weird. And then somehow speed it up and put it into that tight little section. And it's just it's just like a quick destruction, a quick ripping away. And that is such an interesting sound. Of course, Low is always providing an incredibly experimental and unique texture within their music, from the production, their voices, and the guitars, and all the different sounds that they incorporate into the music. But here it's just very like inescapable, the grasp that they hold you in. And I do think it's so interesting how within something so musically destructive as it sounds, their voices are a cascade of beauty. It is a glimmer of hope. It is a refuge kind of within the storm. Because let us be honest, the music is a storm. But if you hold on to their voices, it kind of provides that shelter. It's somewhere to kind of run away to and escape from. And I like how that acts as that place that you can go to for a sort of refuge in this deluge that's happening. And then at the end, when the guitar it changes, because it almost sounds like it's in reverse at the end there. So perhaps, I mean, we'll look at the lyrics and kind of see if we can tie this all together. But perhaps there's a way to turn back, a way to turn things around, a different sort of hope. Let me combine things together. Let's do that, huh? Somewhere out on the ocean, and this does sound like an ocean, like of waves, but like if you were to take a really good microphone and kind of get some field recordings very close to the waves as they crash against the rocks, do some audio manipulation, you can probably get a sound very much like this. Somewhere out in the ocean, across the waves that rise and fall, deep beyond imagination, some kind of madness, I don't know. Every time I see that ship go out, it feels like everything's complete. But somebody somewhere is waiting, some other ocean at her feet, standing on two different shores, of course. That disappearing horizon brings cold comfort to my soul, an ever-present reminder, the constant face of the unknown. Standing upon the shore, as you can imagine, you're not quite sure what's out there. If you were to imagine standing on the shore and looking out to the sea, watching the waves, observing. On one hand, you don't know what's quite out there. But on the other hand, you do know what's out there. There's another shore, there's people living their other lives, and like you know what's out there. But you also don't know what's out there. Deep beyond imagination, right? You can imagine, but you truly don't understand what's happening on the other shore in someone else's life. He says, every time I see that ship go out, it's a specific ship, symbolic or literal. It feels like something's complete. Everything's complete. When something leaves, it feels complete. It feels finished. But somebody somewhere is waiting, some other ocean at her feet. The person on the other shore, there's someone there that's waiting for that ship. So there's a sense of losing, but someone else gaining. Your loss is another's gain. In a way, like I'm reading this as that ship, but what could that represent? That disappearing horizon brings cold comfort to my soul. An ever-present reminder, the constant face of the unknown. The face of the unknown can be comforting. Now, admittedly, he even says it's a cold comfort. Sometimes you don't think of comfort as being cold. I would argue that most of the time you associate it with warmth. But in the summer heat, you don't want warmth as comfort. Cold is comfort. Me sitting in an air-conditioned room, this is comforting. I don't want heat to comfort me right now. So there's a coldness to it, but there's also a comfort. There's also a possible reassurance to it as well. As one thing disappears, perhaps you gain something appearing, so to speak, for yourself or personally. I don't know. I feel like there's something like that. I feel like I'm near. I'm not quite in the hive, but I'm hearing the buzzing of the bees as I hear this. Do you think I'm close? Do you think I'm kind of near there? I don't know. I feel like we're close. And I'm not one to put people's business out there unless they, give me explicit permission or consent to do that, because I'm not going to do that. Because sometimes you guys tell me things and stuff. But Yerk Floor, like, this is a really strong song, especially with what you had written me, which I hope that you're going through this with as much strength and comfort through this time as you can be. And I feel like this song grasps a certain sense of pain and struggle, but also a strength behind it, like they say in the very end, that cold comfort. There's something to it. There's something to it. You let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you as always for being here, for watching, hopefully enjoying. I hope you have a sensational rest of your day. Thank you once again, Yerk Floor, so much for the request, and I truly hope the best for you and your family over there. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.